Hi, I'm Ian from Wild Harvest, and my business partner Lucinda. We both one day had a vision about creating a restaurant with a little bit of difference from everybody else here on the island. Wild Harvest also is a cooking school under the same roof line. The difference is that we wanted to bring some of the past buildings into our restaurant to preserve them for the future. Why don't you come with me and I'll show you what I mean. It all starts with a second-hand lead light window, doors, and then as we open up the door, come on inside. We'll use the hanes on the collars to hang our hats and coats and things like that. The boards on the wall here actually came off the Soldier Settlement Scheme shearing sheds. They were fairly typically built like this, overlapped with the King Island blue gum on the outside of them. This building was about to be torched, so it was great to be able to salvage what boards we could off it to utilise in the restaurant itself. Just around the corner, in the open fireplace, we've used the ore-bearing rock. Grassy's sort of around an old mine site. It started in 1912 and they mine scheelite, which is tungsten used in the hardening of steel. So it's great to be able to put that into the build as well. Just like it is with the Baltic pine floor, it actually came from just across the road from the single men's quarters that those days they called the Dottles. They had about 400 single men housed in the township of Grassy. It was a thriving town in its heyday. Now it's tranquil, peaceful, right for the mood for tourism, and a great place to eat, obviously, is Wild Harvest. Let's talk about the chef's table. If you were here on a cooking class and you all had a hand in doing the cook, you would come out and you would be on the chef's table because you had a part of it. Probably an interesting feature about the table itself is we've used milk vat lines instead of tying it in with timber stringers. So once again, from King Island Dairy, they were throwing out some of the old milk vat lines, and we thought it'd be a good idea to use those in the table. Of course, looking upwards, we've got the rustic iron that came off the original tank maker shed who made all the tanks for all the soldier settlement houses from one end of the island to the other. And within that, we've also put some acoustic material in that we all know that a timber floor can get a little bit noisy, but with the absorption of the sound with also all the boards on the wall, it works quite well. So everyone can have a conversation and hear each other without that chatter that sometimes you get in a restaurant. I'd love to show you the view. We look down on the main port of King Island, Grassy Harbour, and the coastline. Picturesque. Got a magnificent view from every window. We have some of our stock real handy to the restaurant. In fact, our pigs are only about 70 metres and our sheep, some of them are just across the road. And of course you've got the wildlife with wallabies hopping about everywhere. And our veggie garden, quite time of the year, but it's all primed ready for spring again. So we'll have those King Edward potatoes in there and carrots and all that, and the fresh food just comes very, very closely. I'd love to show you our restaurant. It's got a bit of a fascinating story to it as well, in that the boards that I've used in here came off the original Soldier Settlement Scheme workshop shed just out of Curry. So we've utilised them. We stock a lot of Tasmanian wines, Pressing Matters, Devil's Corner, lots of them really, Stefiano, Lubiano, the top wines that are over there, and also some of the bolder reds that we just don't quite do so well in Tasmania. So it's controlled in here. The temperature's around about 13 degrees for the reds, 7 degrees for the whites. So really that's a bit of a glimpse into Wild Harvest Restaurant and Cooking School.